Last time we did a video on how to buy land when you're broke. This is part 3 of that series. If this is your first time ever purchasing a piece of property, or this is your first time ever doing a land home deal, then tune in because this will probably be one of the more informative videos that you've seen thus far on the topic. It is essential that we use a survey when going out to purchase these properties. And this is the reason why. Many owners will try to sell you a piece of land, but you have no way of verifying the actual acreage of that piece of property that you're going out to purchase. And what do I mean when I say this? We have gone out personally to purchase land where they've said that it's 10 acres of land, only to get the survey back and it's actually 9 acres of land. Or even worse, I've seen sometimes where people have gone to purchase 20 acres of land and it comes back that it is 10 acres of land. Now, in that process, I would encourage you to have the seller cover the price of the survey, especially if one doesn't already exist. And the reason that I say this is because what I mentioned earlier, if the acreage does not add up, you don't want to be forced to pay for a survey of a piece of property that you won't even purchase anyway because the acreage is wrong. Another reason that you need to have this property surveyed is to simply find out, where does my potential property begin and where does the neighbor's property end? There's also a lot more information on this survey because it gets much deeper than that. You also want to know about easements, and easements are extremely important. And the reason that I say easements are important is because the neighbor can tell you that this road that leads onto the potential property that you want to purchase belongs to them and it'll transfer over to you. But that survey will actually say, hey, this is an easement that I can access, because I've seen cases, and I've personally been in the middle of a case where we purchased a piece of land, not understanding this about the surveys, only to find out that the driveway, or what we thought was a driveway, or the quote unquote easement, belonged to a neighboring piece of property. Now we're forced to pay the neighbors whatever the current market value is to access that easement to enter on the piece of property that we purchased, or have a new driveway cut on the opposite end of the property, which costs thousands of dollars to do. Well, this survey will give you all of that information. Next, you want to look at this survey because it has information on flood zoning. And this especially goes to people that want to build on this particular piece of property. When I say build, do you want to place a structure on this piece of property? Do you want to set a manufactured home there? Do you want to build something there? All of these things come into play whenever you're talking about flood zoning, because on most structures that you place on that piece of property, you're going to have what they call flood insurance if that piece of property is in a flood zone. And in some instances, they won't even insure it to begin with. So the last thing you want to do is go out and purchase a piece of property, not have a survey, and don't have a clue what the flood zoning is, because this could be the difference between you being able to set infrastructure up on this dream piece of property, or you having a glorified paperweight. Next thing we want to look into is we want to find out who owns the mineral rights of this property. And this is not something to be taken lightly. You must understand that in a lot of states, the mineral rights can be divided from the land rights. Now, what does this mean? Meaning, yes, when you buy this piece of land, yes, you own what's on top of the ground. You own the soil on top of the ground. You own the trees, the water, et cetera, et cetera. But whoever owns the mineral rights is the person that owns what's beneath the ground. And I'm talking about all the way down to the depths of hell. This person owns these rights. Well, the mineral right owner is the one that is considered more important when it comes to structures on that property, or should I say when it comes to excavation work in the future. Now, what does all of this mean? This simply means, let's just say you purchase a piece of property, you're living on the piece of property, and someone comes out and you see people digging on your land and you're in a frenzy. What's going on? Why are you digging? Why are you doing this excavation? They inform you later, we're an oil company. We have retained the rights to the minerals. We're here to dig into the ground to extract the oil. They have the right to do that, and you don't have the right to stop them from doing that. Well, guess what? If you own the mineral rights and the land rights, or the surface rights, then this means that you can stop that and can't anybody do this on your property. So understanding that if you are going to proceed into a situation where you don't own the mineral rights, then know that maybe I should consider getting this piece of land deeply discounted at that. Maybe I should consider getting this land not at current market value, but extremely below current market value, because I actually don't retain the ownership of every aspect of this piece of land. These are things that you seriously want to take into consideration before purchasing a piece of property. They don't have to let you know And I'm going to repeat this. They don't even have to let you know the date that they're coming out there to dig. So you potentially could be living at this piece of land 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years from now, and then find someone in your backyard drilling for oil, and they have the right to do that. So this is something you want to get straightened out, or this is something you want to get to the bottom of beforehand prior to purchasing this piece of land. Last but not least, and this is the most important thing, there's nothing more important than this, than you getting title insurance. You have to get title insurance, or you should get title insurance prior to purchasing a piece of land. And this includes my people that are going out for owner finance property, because even if you are dealing directly with an owner and you are not dealing with a major institution like a bank, you still have rights as long as you protect yourself. This title insurance is going to be the difference between you being able to sleep comfortably at night and not exactly knowing if this person really truly owns the land that they claim to own the land. And what do I mean when I say this? Let's just say you purchased a piece of land from somebody and the previous owner had construction work done on the property. The previous owner did not pay the construction company for the work that they did, and you purchased a home. Now the construction company is coming to sue you or potentially take this piece of property from you because they placed a mechanics lien on this particular piece of land that transferred over to you. You're going to be responsible for restoring that company or going to court and having your property completely removed from you to restore that company. Well, this is where the title insurance comes into place. This is where the title company comes into place. The title company insurance policy is responsible for restoring that previous construction owner to its full potential, or even if the previous owner didn't actually own the land and the land belonged to their grandfather, the title company responsibility is to protect you moving forward and backwards. And when I say moving forward and backwards, let's say backwards, meaning their responsibility is to go and check, do all of the research to find out who owned this property from 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And then also who's going to come after me in the future for anything that the previous owner possibly could have done wrong. It is their responsibility to find out these things. And if they don't find out these things, to correct these things after they come up. So these are the three most important things, or three of the most important things that you want to make sure that you have done prior to purchasing this piece of land. If you need any more information, someone to walk you through and guide you on the land purchasing process, the family homesteading process, or setting up a family compound, go to www.40acrecomeback.com. Enroll in class and ask as many questions as possible. We're big advocates for first-time land and home buyers, and we help people out as much as possible along the journey in educating them on setting up their own family farm, homestead, and homeschooling their children. My name is Aisha Yar, and this is the 40 Acre Comeback.